So, Neptune, where did we last leave our dauntless players?
Passed out in the bar.
Which bar? This is important.
Oh, man. Wait. What was the first bar we went to?
The good one. That was the high bar. That was my bar.
The high bar? Okay. So, passed out in the street in front of the high bar.
Oh, good. They got thrown out. That means they drank enough.
Yeah.
I believe, actually, we left them in any one or two places in front of a roiling purple portal.
Yes, roiling purple people eater, yes.
Yes. What they know is that the Occupant has been through there. So, we pick up as they step through the portal. As they step through, they're met with a gorgeous and disconcerting wood, seemingly overgrowing. I did put wood in there. There's gonna be a lot of wood in this episode, guys. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
I'll give you some disconcerting wood.
Not now. Don't want the audience to see.
Right
That'd
now.
be weird.
Oh, can't record that.
So they're headed to the Fey Wilds. So there's gonna be a lot of woods. And there's gonna be a lot of chaotic fairy magics, and there's gonna be a lot of trouble. But suffice to say, what they see here as they step out into the Fey Wilds, and if they're in the basement, it just means that they have to climb out of a similar basement or root cellar, is...
Ooh, so they come out in an actual tangle of roots, and they're stepping out of a wedge of a tree, the hole in a tree there.
Yep, or
Like
they're in the lighthouse, they are stepping out onto the bow of a tree. That is
onto
massive.
a tree limb.
Yeah, that's massive. And
You just come out of that knot in the trunk.
what they can see is a seemingly reclaimed Everspear's Crossing. Most of the buildings have trees grown through them or have collapsed under the churning growth of vines to broken husks of rubble. This is because the Feywilds are a parallel plane. So everything they touch, any segue to them, they kind of run concurrent to. And they also run parallel to the material plane somewhere. We're not sure where this touches in the material plane, but Everspear Crossing is definitely where it touches in the outer planes.
So, yeah, instead of each individual building, you might see a grove of trees that just happens to occupy that same space, or a low hill.
Yeah, you can honestly describe it up like if you've ever seen those pictures of nature reclaimed amusement parks. You can do that. Make it fucking creepy. Make it so that the pieces of Everspear Crossing that exist, some of them have carried over here and have just gotten destroyed by the wood.
Ironically, where there's a little greenery in the city, there's actually a clearing here.
Yeah, it's just a nice patch of sun. The colors are more vibrant. Magic scintillates off everything.
Even if you didn't cast Detect Magic yet.
Yeah, you can just kind of tell.
In fact, don't do that at all.
Yeah, any Detect Magic is going to be like some fucking crazy acid trip.
Yeah.
Especially because for any given spell, you'll probably have to roll on the Wild Magic table.
Oh, yes.
Wild Magic reigns in the Feywilds, as you may expect, because there's just very chaotic fairy influence everywhere. Also, neat thing about Feywild is once they leave and go back to Everspear Crossing, players are going to have to make a will save to remember what happened. Now, you don't have to do that. You can choose to ignore that. It's just a nice little piece of flavor from, I believe they had that in the fourth edition's Feywild. Maybe you never remember anything. Also, distance means almost nothing here, as perspective juggles and shifts wildly as the players move. Just coming down on the tree trunk that they might have started on, that used to be a lighthouse, or crawling up out of the root cellar, the ground and exits approach just way faster than you would expect they do, but then take forever to get finally there once you're close. We've included the jungle template, where anything inside of it you can assume is about as far away as it seems. Everything outside of that, you have no fucking clue.
Yeah, and by template we mean a masterfully drawn, might I say, circle, green dry erase marker.
Yep.
And the fine dwarven craftsmanship of that bottom line, just amazing.
It's I have not seen art like this before or since.
Yes.
It's incredible in its majesty. But so that's your play space, so to speak. If they get outside of that, treat it much like what we used it for earlier, the forest dungeon. I believe that was 9?
Yes.
Episode 9. So
Same idea here.
Treat it like that.
Always be able to reuse your assets.
If they're in the green, they can make rolls to try and get back to the party who is in the middle. If they are out of the green,
outside of the circle, well,
lost.
Yeah. You're going to have to suddenly run 2 separate threads in the Fey Wild. Remember, don't split the party, guys.
Yeah. Luckily, with the Fey Wilds, you can just use the Fey Wilds to your advantage. Once they're out of sight of Everspear Crossing, it just vanishes and they can't find it again. Because the woods shift around them.
Poof.
But you say, Oberon, what would make them want to leave this beautifully reclaimed version of Everspear Crossing? Well, in the distance, through the trees to the west, and maybe to the east, and maybe to the north and south, the sounds of battle ring out. The explosion of spells and the dry thunk of hardened objects into leather or hide. If that's not enough to make your characters go towards it, it might be enough to make your characters go away from it, which, in all truthfulness, is also going towards it. Judge your party. I'd say start saying in the west, and if they go away from it, that's fine. If they go towards it, you can just start saying, oh yeah, it sounds like it's all around you. Give them a random counter from the table below, or 2 if they keep trying to avoid it. Hell, I think we can even just include some subsections if they try and avoid the first big conflict altogether.
Yeah.
This is to give them the illusion of choice.
A magician's choice, if
yes.
you will.
Whatever they pick, you win.
What do you pick? Okay, we'll eliminate that option.
Also, a good knowledge check. I'd say, DC 25 or so about the Fey Wilds. You could do knowledge planes, knowledge nature, knowledge religion, or anything else that really sounds like it makes any sense. We'll get them the information of nobody uses this route. Nobody goes on this parallel plane. Now, most people don't even know it exists because Sigil doesn't need a midpoint. Because it doesn't matter. You've got doors.
Yeah, it's like a forgotten suburb of Sigil. It's like the rusted out factories on the edge of a city.
Yeah, and just because nobody would use it doesn't mean it's uninhabited.
Right.
It's the home of many patron spirits of the Fae. You've got the Sun Queen Titania, the Mad Queen Mab, mischievous Rodman Goodfellow, the Earl King and the Master of the Wild Hunt, and many, many more. Any crazy fairy myths you can think of to throw in here, go for it. Fairy tales, perfect. Treat them like biblical passages, and assume that they are
as
people.
Metaphor.
Well, yes, but in the case of clerics, as truth.
I was gonna say as shitty fiction.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But shitty fiction is shitty because it's real. Wait, no.
I felt this with my heart, man. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
If you've never run a thing with fairies before, D&D has this to say about Seelie versus Unseelie. They are the 2 big factions of fairies, although there's many complex sub-factions and differences amongst them. D&D says Seelie Fae will react positively to outsiders. Unseelie Fae will react negatively to outsiders. They imply that division is what causes the conflict between the 2. Then I would say it's more reputation from humans than actual actions of fairies.
Yeah, I really don't think the fairies are worried about how they react to humans. It's really more of a consequence than a feature, you might say.
Yes.
So what? Humans. Are those pink things that smell like meat and piss? Oh, right, them.
If your players are asking, see if you can get them to throw out like 4 or 5 things they know about fairies or about Seelie and unseelie Fey. Pick 2 of them to be correct.
Oh, yeah.
Unless
you're the DM that's scared them out of, quote, giving the DM ideas, unquote, a phrase I hear twice a session.
That's just because I constantly try to.
Yeah. Well, you've infected Salfon with it, too. Wait, I shouldn't say that out loud. Wait. Oh, don't tell the DM that.
But so long as they have some ideas about fairy, great. We can take the 7th C approach, which is that everything you've heard is plausible. Not everything you've heard is true. If not, you can tell your players that most of them will be chaotic in nature, most of them are tricksters, most of them like having a gas at a human's expense. Those will be pretty consistent. Also, they are evil outsiders.
They like having a gas at humans' expense because for the novelty and for nothing more. They'll do it to anyone, but you're new.
Yeah. You are considered evil outsiders in this place.
Right.
So, if you come across Fey, they're probably going to fuck with you, so long as you don't have a guide. If you're traveling with someone who's got papes or whatever, they'll probably leave you alone.
Right, but, like, you know someone from here? You're a friend with one of the Fey? How did that happen, and why are you still in possession of all your faculties?
Yeah,
You sure you're not a sleeper agent?
Hypnosis is a thing.
Yep.
Especially for most Fey, honestly.
They do it as easily as breathing. Like, if you knew this Fey since like, if they wrote that into their backstory, they've had a fairy godmother. That fairy godmother hypnotized them with a sleeper cell command word in the cradle.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Hundo P. I mean, just look at Otto's Irresistible Dance. Or,
oh, yeah.
Tasha's
hideous
laughter.
Uncontrollable
Yeah, hideous uncontrollable daughter. Laughter. That right there. Yeah, I mean, those are your big blueprints for Fey magic, and it's all compulsion. Once they get to the clearing in which the combat is happening, if they're attempting to find it, take them right to it. Maybe make them make a survival check to not get split up.
Yep. No reason to bog down the excitement. If they're excited for a fight, get right to it. Do a couple terrain checks, whatever.
Yeah. Following the sounds brings you to a large clearing that may have been nicely appointed at one time. Linens made of spider silk are dashed on the ground, torn and mussed with holes shot in them. The tables they were once atop, on either side of the clearing, are riddled with arrows, pocked with blast marks, scorched, frozen, and generally still good cover for the inhabitants hiding behind them and hawking all manner of misery at the other side. A sea of upturned chairs makes a secondary barricade between the two forces. This no-phase land means nothing to those Fey who are not landlocked, though. The sky above and the boughs of all the trees, royal with thousands of fairies, locked in what seems to be a ceaseless combat. Fairy dust rains from the sky as all manner of pixie, sprite, sylph, lay, lady, and lord of the Fey move towards making each other ex-Fey.
This is an ex-parrot.
Very. Because of this, wild magic churns in the air and threatens everyone who steps a foot in the brawl. Behind each of the tables sits a general watching the batter. A radiant nymph...
Batter?
Yeah. No, butter.
I mean,
battle.
He is watching the batter. Somehow, he also he has to make the wedding cake during the wedding. It's a weird fairy tale thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So behind each of the tables sits a general watching the battle. There it is.
Oh.
A radiant nymph commands a strong band of elves, dryads, butterfly wings, sprites, and every hippy-dippy sunshine-loving Fey you can imagine.
Like, far out, man.
Her opponent, a bog hag, has the much more practical band of goblins, drow, pixies, driders, and generally emo Fey. Assume they're all fans of My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the bog is practical. I'm gonna take the dudes with the battle scars and broken noses because they walked away from the fight.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
You see the other guy.
Assume everything from both the Seelie and Unseelie encounter tables below is in play here. There are supposed to be too many opponents to count.
Yeah.
And most are focusing on each other, because this has reached what nature likes to call a balance. There are two armies locked in eternal battle because they have reached homeostasis.
Yes, they've all divided into their own private skirmishes.
Yep. As fairies fall, more rush in from the sides. You can see supplies being drawn in from lesser, weaker Fey, and the battle is in a constant state of. It's like the tides. It swells up and in, and then recedes and swells and recedes.
Well, yeah, these Fae are, of course, known for their sense of rhythm because the air is also, I'm sure, full of soliloquy. Have at thee, mine own cursed enemy. Da 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 da.
If it wasn't, by the time they see you, it is. Got to keep up appearances, you see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If the players stop to look, the brawl has been going on for quite some time. Tattered decorations hang from some of the trees, ribbons and colors that match the colors of both armies, currently blasting each other.
Blue and red for convenience's sake.
Sure, yeah, that's... What you're seeing is the wreck of a wedding hall.
Yeah. We could go really deep into the video game library and just say yellow and green.
Yellow and green?
Yeah. Teams 3 and 4.
Oh! There we go. Yeah, yellow and green. Perfect. Perfect Fey colors.
There we go.
So, if your players are spotted, make themselves known to any individual Fey, they are assumed to be amongst the enemy because that Fey does not know them. So they'll be attacked.
Yeah, and a friend wouldn't appear dressed up in an illusion, appear that ugly. Are you kidding?
Yeah. The only exception is if they are taking obvious actions against the other faction, in which case they feel comfortable ignoring you.
Right. This still might be a clever ruse.
Like, alright, I'm gonna let you do whatever damage you can, but the second I think you're turning on us or gonna cause us harm, I'm on it.
Yep. You want to make your players paranoid to the point of inaction. No.
You want to make your players stride onto no phase land, claim it like a giant dick they are, and rout both armies, which is an option.
Plant their flag in the center and demand that they all speak to you in turn, and draw up a treaty. Because that fucking bard wants to talk his way through every combat.
That seems like a way to get murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assume all the Fey, especially the Fey generals, have like diplomacy of woe, and are entrenched against each other.
What's this diplomacy? Whoa.
For the nymph, it's that. For the bog hag, it's Tree of Woe, the mankind finisher.
Yo, yeah. Put them in the Tree of Woe.
So, this huge rollicking mess is a battle of attrition. They're in a gridlock state that will only end when one of the armies is routed or calls for retreat. Put a counter on the table for each army's morale. They both start at 40. Assume that they are in balance, that any losses that they will take are replaced, and they commit the same level of losses on the opponent's side. Because it's a nature thing. Nature is balance in all things.
Yep. This forest fire will eventually burn itself out.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, California can stop smoking.
Yeah.
Too soon?
It's still going on.
Okay, so what this 40 points represents on either side is the player's ability to sway the course of the battle. Should either side reach 0, the general will call for a retreat and cede the field to the other army. Should either general be taken out, that side is routed and retreats.
Yeah, and I like that in the table that seems to represent itself organically because deal damage to a general is -5 morale to that general's side.
Yep.
If you hit him with 8 light hits, I guess that means he's out of here because you mean business. But if you hit him with 8 heavy hits, he's dead anyway.
Now, speaking of the generals, both generals are 10th level sorcerers on top of their monster levels and have the following mechanics. They have an armor class of 35, spell resistance 30, 250 hit points.
Wow.
This just means that if you do 8 hits with them, they might survive. As a level 17 character, if you hit one 8 times, it's probably still dead.
Yeah.
The other thing is they get a...
If you do 30 plus damage a hit, yeah, he's dead.
They get a special 50% evasion. This is not actual evasion. They're not actively dodging your spells, but they are surrounded by bodyguards who would happily jump in front of a bullet for them.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you lose the evasion roll, instead of hitting the general with whatever spell or attack you're levying at them, one of the bodyguards takes a shot instead. I'd still say that's worth a point. You can just call the bodyguards a red shirt and give them, and say it's killing a Fey of CR 10+.
Yeah.
So that's 1 point down on morale because you killed a bodyguard.
Yeah, and eventually, if it seems to drag on, you can just say, okay, all his bodyguards are dead.
Yeah. If you go more than 4 or 5 rounds in this, and they're taking shots at the enemy general the whole time, at some point just kill all the bodyguards.
Yeah.
Okay, the evasion doesn't count anymore.
This is everyone's least favorite boss in a Sonic game. Red Eye.
Yeah. Ugh. At the end of the round, both generals give out one of the following orders. Form up, which takes scattered groups of damaged Fey, gives them a free move action to come back together, and gives them a mass cure moderate. So just a light bit of healing. It's like, what, 2d8 plus 10?
I think so.
And it's to everyone in that area.
I'm always confused about that. I always have to count it in my head. Light, moderate, strong.
I mean, 2d8...
Fierce.
2d8 plus 10 doesn't do...
Cure fierce wounds.
Much. That's like half of a hit at this point from your players. That might do a lot against the lesser Fey.
Yeah, but if as a visual effect, like it's you just say, oh, his white light spreads out from him and he heals his party, that make them a little panicky, change their plans.
Yeah.
Maybe they switch to AOE dots.
Yeah, more dots.
More dots.
Focus fire. Fairies with held actions for ranged attacks or spells unleash them at a designated target. So the general can say, focus that. If somebody hit them, there's a good chance the general's going to say, focus you!
Yeah.
He hit me!
And remember, they all have fairy fire. They can do that very, very easily.
Yep,
Focus fire with fairy fire. That guy in particular. Bang!
So there's enough arrows that I'm not worried about you being hit. I just care about how often you're hit. So roll 2d6. The target is hit by that many arrows, which deal 1d8 damage.
Hold the blast template over your player.
They may reflex for half the damage, because, I'm assuming that you're hit, so you might juke around to dodge that.
If the player's a monk, let him use those feats he's got. Swing his bow staff around.
Also assume a number of spells just hammered into your square. So rather than roll for what spells they are, the magic just interacts with the Fey Wild, and you roll on the wild magic table 1d6 times.
Ooh, that really screws the guy who's got counterspell prepared. You get hit with, well, it was a fireball, now it's a pot of petunias.
And a whale.
And a whale. Now you get hit in the face with a whale. I wasn't ready for conjuration, I thought it was evocation, goddammit.
So, yeah. What are other good general commands, orders? Or does that cover it? Is that all we
Phalanx.
Phalanx. What does it do?
All the bodyguards get in a line in front of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They probably take less damage, but this is your chance to blow up all of his bodyguards.
Yeah.
And during this round, his 50% evasion up there goes up to 100%. And then he gets to ready a spell.
Okay, yeah. 10th level sorcerer.
Yep. And then, you might leaving all his bodyguards, but at the top of the order, next round, he goes, super duper fairy fireball. Get wrecked.
Yep.
Lost my bodyguards, but that's what they were good for.
So the generals have a lot of options. I'm also going to give them some reactions. Each general may take one of the following reactions each turn. So they don't have unlimited reactions. They're not that high level where they should have so many actions. And these reactions are based on what their subordinates are doing. They're reacting to something going on with one of the people they're tracking. The first one is make them pay! When one of their subordinates would deal damage from a melee or ranged attack, the general pours their magic into that fairy, maximizing the damage roll. Simple. Doesn't seem like it does a lot, but it's a nice little, I need this to actually do the full 2d6 plus 5. There. There you go. They can also tell one of their subordinates to duck and cover. If an area of effect spell is cast, one unit of the general's choice may move up to 10 feet instantly to avoid its effects. So, those 10 guys are about to die. You get out of the way. Your 9 friends, they're fucking dead. They're fucking eating a fireball. There's some extra room for reactions.
I've got one.
Ooh, what is it?
So one good reaction for him would be medic. General sacrifices one of his or her own bodyguards to heal.
Oh, okay. So this is a reaction to when the general is hit.
Yeah. And he just takes one of his red shirts and drains it of something like, give me your energy crystal and bugger off. Or bites them like a vampire and sucks them dry. Or
the bog hag probably does.
The bog hag probably straight up eats them. Yeah. And they heal a fixed amount of damage. How much damage do these? 250 hit points, so 20?
Yeah, 20's good.
Yeah, 20 hit points is reasonable. We could even make that a representation of d8s.
Like
4d8?
48?
Yeah, 48.
Okay, so it's a cure critical. Well, it's a little bit less. Could be 3d8 plus 10.
48 plus 5, so that's anywhere from 9 to 45.
Alright, 48 plus 5.
There we go.
It's a good range. I like that range.
Yeah, reaction, cure, critical. Don't you wish you had that?
Yeah, I mean...
I just have to take still, silent, quicken, empower spell.
Or do what this general is doing and hold your action.
And hold your action. Yep. Eat someone.
Hold your action and then eat someone. Arf! Because the generals don't take any other actions. All they have is orders and reactions. They are coordinating the battle. That being said, everything else on the encounter tables below is here. We should probably hit those encounter tables.
Sure.
So for random encounter tables, you've got 4 options, each with a flavor for Seelie and Unseelie.
Yep, and those will be listed in the notes. This is really just use the stat block and re-skin it. Our good old friend re-skinning.
Yep, except in one case where I think we actually found a good CR10 Seelie and a good CR10 Unseelie. Let's start with that one.
Yep, that's the second encounter on our table. Let's start with number 2.
So number 2 is a CR16 and 4 CR10s. For the Seelie, it's 4 Alps and a Stone Treant. Yeah. What is a Stone Treant?
It's basically an earth elemental that looks like a tree.
Ooh, cool.
This creature looks much like an animated sculpture of a tree. Oh, it says it right there. Yep.
Perfect.
So yeah, you already got what this looks like in your head. It's a roper without the ropes.
Yep, and the Alp is a big, is a medium-sized toothy thing, right?
Yes. Its yellow eyes appear out of a noseless, toothy face. And it grins, which I think is very Fey.
Great. Perfect.
And as you see in the link, it is in fact a Fey. Some of these things have different types. I figured the Elemental's okay in the Fey Wilds.
Yeah.
The Aberration in the next one, I feel it's just a Fey. In your head, DM, change everything to Fey.
So the Unseelie side has 4 Bogeymen and a Scylla?
Yeah,
like
Scylla.
the fucking the sea monster?
No, like the things on the outside of bacteria.
Oh, okay.
But this one had a very Fey description, I felt. This horrifying creature has the upper body of a beautiful woman, but the lower body of snapping wolf heads and writhing tentacles.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, it's the fucking sea monster that's next to Charybdis.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
They're getting Greek on us.
All right. So yeah, it's very Greek. It's very Fey.
Tits are probably out.
Yeah, this is a wedding after all.
I mean, there's no other place to do it.
I mean, she could take the wedding dress off. Like, she's got a big voluminous skirt. She's beautiful, and then she's like, I'm wolf heads and tentacles.
Ah, she's like the maid of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Take that to your horn dog PC. Hey baby, what's under that dress? Bark, 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 bark.
Ursula and Cerberus.
Yes.
What?
Oh, that poor unfortunate soul. All right. Yeah, so this CR16 is huge, and it says aquatic, but this being the Fey Wild, really any 5-foot patch of it could be any environment. So,
any biome you want.
Yeah. Has an AC of 30, 250 hit points. It's immune to a bunch of stuff.
Yep, sounds good.
Her bottom half has 4 bites and 4 tentacles.
Nice!
Yeah, you can grab them, you can bite them, you can make them bleed. She's got a bunch of cool spells like
Hot.
black tentacles.
Super hot.
Getting hotter.
Giggity gig. Alright.
And summon one Charybdis.
Of course it's
There
got
you
to
go.
summon Charybdis.
I get to click on the link and find out what that is now. An immense spiny monster. Its back plated in chitin, and its belly in thick folds of blubber rises hungrily from the center of a whirlpool.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, in this wedding anywhere, did the bride and groom rent a fountain?
It might be a chocolate fountain.
Ooh, yes! Alright. A chocolate fountain that you could stand in. Suddenly, a spiky whale shoots out of it and eats you. This is great.
Perfect. This sounds like a crazy fucking party to me.
It's a breakfast commercial gone horribly wrong. Sugar and a mascot and you're dead. Wait, shit.
You're dead! I'm Fucky the Whale, and you're dead!
I thought it was fudgy. You thought wrong! Get fudged.
So, there's also detachments of Wild Hunt Scouts. They're pretty much identical, Seelie or unseelie. All fairies like to hunt, especially on both sides of this wedding.
Yep. In fact, these Fae are so generic, I think I'd just say they're wearing different colored banners.
Yeah,
These guys are Bloods, these guys are Crips.
the flowers in their hair are different. This one's got brambles, and that one's got, like, wispy earth and grass. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of retemplating needing. They do a lot of interesting things, like have a crit range of 15 to 20. 3 solid fucking attacks that do 3d6 force damage. They're a good time.
Force damage?
Yeah, they're swords. They conjure force swords in their hands when they attack.
Oh, that's so cool.
They also can, like...
Do they even have to hold them, or they just, like, wave their arm and then you get hit with a force sword?
It's gotta be touching their hand or it disappears. That means they don't have to have a grip, really. They could just, like...
Yeah. They just shake your hand and suddenly they're holding a sword.
They could just shake your hand and suddenly you're pulling back a stump.
Never shake hands. In fact, I would do that every time. Every time you roll this encounter, they just walk up and say, "Oh, pleasure to meet you."
And they're definitely
Stick.
smiling too wide.
Oh, yes. Ear to ear.
So, what's encounter number 3?
Oh, encounter number 3 is a tunch.
Oh.
Tunch. Tunch. Alright. A chaotic neutral, huge Fey stands on 3 legs and is a mixture of dangerous jungle animals and plants fused into one deadly predator.
Whew!
So it's gonna punch you. It's gonna tiger punch you with a tree limb, I guess.
Tunch got a punch?
Yeah. This
Nice.
one's got a fucking tiger face, and it's gonna punch you. And this one's Oh, I know what it is. You know when you got the Lego set and you built the Megazord, and then your little brother got into it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
mixed it with the other Lego set, and that's what you got.
Oh.
There you go.
No, there's Duplo in here. How did you do that?
The Megazord can't grow vines. That doesn't make any sense.
So, importantly with these, considering the type of battle it is, let them discorporate and recorporate. Let there just be a bunch of crazy wild animals and flailing vines around every once in a while. And then eventually it comes back together into the full Tunch.
Yeah.
Just adds to the visual.
This might appear due to the wild magic. If, like, two Fey from across a battlefield decide to fireball each other and you happen to be standing next to the result, this is just what the wild magic shows you.
Yep.
It's an elephant golem that kicks you with its rabbit legs.
As for making them look seelie or unseelie, I think you can do that mostly with plant choice.
Yep.
Like, honestly, just go, oh, that one doesn't have any leaves on it, that one does.
Or those leaves are still alive. Those have been dead a long time.
That one's covered in moss, and that one's, like, got daisies. I don't know.
This one's growing sunflowers and carrots. This one is choked with weeds.
That one smells like an honestly maintained compost heap. That one smells like a gravesite.
These flowers smell like flowers. Those flowers smell like perfume.
They both might be sticky and wet.
But for different reasons.
Different reasons. And give a different reason give a different way of encoding it every time your players look at them, because they are constantly shifting. So, oh, now you're noticing this. Now you're noticing that. It's a Tunch. It's a one-punch Tunch.
Can't punch that Tunch.
Don't punch this.
That Tunch is chonk.
That Tunch. That chonky Tunch.
Yeah, he's a chonky Tunch. He's got a 31 armor class and 262 hit points. And because he's Fey, it's got damage reduction.
And then, number 4 on that list, I've noted that it has a wacky environment feature. That's for when you encounter it in an ambush. Right now, we've got enough wacky environment. You can ignore that.
Yeah, wacky environment feature is pretty much taken care of by wild magic.
Yeah. But what we have is Red Sun. Aw, that's cute. This mounted knight wears armor colored like a blazing sun and wields a flaming sword. So that's... looks like a... oh, it's a human horseman fighter, but it's not.
Yeah, it's a Fey. Again, reskin it. It's a Fey. Recolor it to show the difference between Seelie and Unseelie.
Yeah, one of them's got the yellow colors and one of them's got the green colors.
Yep.
Keep them the colors of the bridal parties.
Yep. And instead of on horses, they're on deer. They're on...
yeah, like massive stags on one side and...
lizards?
nightmares.
Nightmares? Nightmares. Yeah, nightmares. Some good old nightmares.
Make this a little metal.
Yep.
Not cold iron. Can't be cold iron, but metal.
Metal.
Might be the only metal you see on this battlefield, actually.
Yep.
Because most of it's going to be hide or just bone.
Yeah.
Chitin.
Yeah, maybe even just the skeletons of horses. Yeah.
So, in general, they have an AC of 25 and 161 hit points. They won't be going down anytime soon. And I believe we made them 4-packs.
Yep.
So, there you go.
Yeah, they're wandering around the battle with their brothers in arms, sounding like very drunk Shakespeare.
Yes.
So, Shakespeare.
Very Shakespeare. So, what this ends up being is this giant roiling battle with all of those things, and any other Fey of lower levels you care to mention. If you want more, if you want to describe more, and just remember that that's gonna die real quick. because of all the magic going around. The party can influence morale for either side by doing damage to the general, which gives him -5, doing surviving a focus fire, because that's really demoralizing. The general said, kill that thing. It's still alive.
Yeah, they nucleate that site and you're still there. You get to, flourish and make a pose.
Yep. The big winner here, I think, is bards.
Yeah.
If your bard picks a side and sings for them, that's thousands of troops within their hearing that get the bardic music buff.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
I am willing to call that demoralizing to the other side each turn, whatever the bardic music bonus is.
Pretty much guarantees that your bard has to be a fast talker, though, because you're gonna turn the tide that quickly, and then they gotta turn around and explain themselves.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Reasons? Now they don't trust you.
Yeah. If your characters have sound tactics for them, for their actions, give them big rewards. That's the way to really accelerate through this. And not all tables are going to be able to do that. Not all players care about that and think like that. But if they do, we don't give those types of players enough time to shine anyway. So let them have a big damn hero moment.
Oh yeah.
Your other basics are, if you kill a Fey CR10 plus, which is basically anything in the table, -1 to the side that lost a dude. If you spearhead a charge with other fairies claiming no Fey's land, you'll get you'll demoralize the other side by 2 points per turn that you maintain control of no man's land.
Because now you're distracting everybody.
If you do it yourself, both armies get -2 morale per turn.
Yeah, so if you manage to hold the middle of a war zone for 20 rounds, everyone grinds to a halt. Then you have everybody's attention.
And you'll actually probably do it in 5 as they start calling for focus fires on you that you survive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this will be hot and fast. But circling back to the players with plans part. If your players come up with a really good, let's say they come up with a good sound plan to defeat a boss. Or not a boss, just any old encounter. Sometimes players come with a great idea and they execute it, and then sometimes the dice aren't in their favor. Or
sometimes the dice fuck you raw.
Yeah, damage just isn't enough. Or, yeah, that would work if that spell, had the scope that you thought it did. But otherwise, it's such a great idea, and they do it well, and they were really super into it, and only did 10 damage to that Fey. Reward them by going, okay, you scar his face, he's very mad, and he starts to raise his sword and says, I'm gonna kill you, and then he's mortared out of nowhere. Kablam! He's dead. You guys win. Because this is a war zone. By the way, dodge.
And also wild magic.
Yeah. Just wild magic.
Yeah, if the war zone doesn't pick up the spare, allow wild magic to pick up the spare.
Yes.
But give them that satisfying crunch.
Yep. Go back to that the middle of Final Fantasy VIII when they're running into the other garden. It's one of my favorite scenes. You see this guy with a sword take this guy off a motorcycle with it. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But yeah, have them revel in their tactical roleplay for a bit.
Yeah.
Put it on the screen. In this area, you can remove that template. There's so many fireballs and things just burning the world around them that it has to be as big as it is.
Yeah. In fact, flip the mat over and then just put a bunch of minis on it. They're all facing each other. There's all these little duels going on.
Draw the 2 tables, draw no Fey's land. That's it.
Yep.
Now your players can take whatever actions they please, so long as they get the job done.
Draw a little circle in one square. That is the wedding cake.
And a bigger circle over on the other side. That is that chocolate fountain.
That's a chocolate fountain. Candy Mountain, Charlie.
I'm Fucky the Whale!
Oh god, here's Fucky the Whale.
So yeah, whatever they do, so long as they get the job done, As long as one or both of the armies are demoralized to 0 and retreat, or one or both of the generals are dead at the end, it's all good. If they find this war zone and try and flee, you got some options. Put troops right behind them, ready to come into the battle. Well, now they're kind of shoved into the middle of the war zone.
Yep.
Or let them escape and find 3 random encounters, and then the 4th one is your I didn't pick a side random encounter. If they didn't pick a side and they attack the didn't pick a side random encounter, they're in the anti-Fey plotline. Otherwise, as the enemy breaks and runs, the fairies remaining in the clearing turn to the interlopers in their midst. If the party has distinguished themselves to the general by taking out the opposing general, saving their life, committing impressive acts on the battlefield, whatever, it may begrudgingly offer them thanks and a manner of explanation of what caused this. If the actions weren't very impressive, they instead are questioned like the interlopers they are, and held in suspicion. A DC 28 diplomacy check should be able to work it out, but in general, just be like, who the fuck are you? Why are you here? What are you doing?
Name, rank, serial number.
Yeah. But much more terse and much more ready to cut a bitch if they have
More terse than name, rank, and serial number.
Yeah, serial number's way too... They don't need that. I don't care.
Name and your eyeball.
Who are you? Where are you? What's your vote? Wait, no.
Yeah, no.
That radio thing hasn't been on for years, has it?
No, that guy has just been gone for like 20 years.
Fuck me. So, a DC 28 diplomacy check can smooth a lot over. If you've got a bard or a fast-talking rogue, you could probably get there no trouble. If you're
one very knowledgeable wizard.
One very knowledgeable wizard.
Wait, guys, I got this. I got this.
But, I mean, the problem is y'all look like the Occupant to these fairy.
Oh, yeah. Kind of pink. Yeah. Soft.
Yeah. Messing with us, sticking your nose where it doesn't belong.
Yeah. Being here in the first place? God damn it.
Obviously, if they've shown that valor, the general doesn't give a shit. Because, you know what? Everyone's happy to have something that saves their ass every once in a while.
Yeah.
But if they can possibly not give you the credit for it, they're going to extend the middle finger. If Sealy troops won with the player's help, you get the Sealy side of the story, which is that this was supposed to be a wedding. It was supposed to be a happy time between a Sealy and an unsealy princess. And those horrifying unsealy bastards killed Our Lady.
Killed her?
Just straight up killed her in the middle of the vows.
Those Fey, you can't trust those Fey.
Turns out it was a trap by the unsealy. Not only did they kill her, she was then corrupted and made an undead. They cannot raise a hand against their own lady. It is not within their power.
Yeah, and since we still got this one, we can't just get rid of it and find a new one. We have to go continue with this undead one.
But you being interlopers,
yeah,
you could do it. We'll send you with a guide to where our freshly minted dead lady lies to make sure she becomes re-dead, so to speak.
Yes. We sent her to the graveyard. Or to the Hanging Willow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. Hanging Willow.
Sent her to the Hanging Willow.
Yep. They have a tree that tries to choke people.
They're willing to offer you many options. Probably the thing they'll offer the most is a favor. Maybe not even a favor from them. You see, if Titania were to find out that one of her daughters was an undead and left roaming around the Fey Wilds, it would be no end of embarrassment to her.
Yep.
So they can offer you a favor from the Fairy Queen.
Go kill this zombie for us. It'd mean a lot.
Really, and of course, Titania doesn't have the heart to kill her own daughter. She couldn't do that. She couldn't even offer it.
In fact, do it by the end of the week so word doesn't get out. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, we'll just, nope, not gonna make it. Nope, not gonna.
Oh. Now I'm curious.
We'll we'll just turn off all the recording devices by our cell.
Oh. 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 I've seen way too much of that meme recently. Oh man. Oh man. We'll just turn off this camera. It needed to be fixed anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
Woo! Alright.
So,
Actually,
future
maybe,
me, thank you for taking that out.
Maybe exactly that. These are Fey after all.
Right.
Oof. Alright. Spicy.
So, you're led through the forest by a Seelie Fey in that case. Roll the encounter table 3 times. If you feel like the adventure is getting a little long in the tooth, you can cut any number of random encounters.
Oh, yeah.
You've already used everything on this list in the first battle. So, do only as much as you feel you need to.
Yep.
If the Unseelie side won, you get the Unseelie side of the story. Which is that
the world seed isn't here, and it must have been stolen in the chaos of the events at the wedding.
The world seed being the thing that the Seelie Fae were giving to the Unseelie Fae as part of the wedding arrangement. This is
A dowry.
Yes, it's a dowry of sorts, because a daughter of Mab is marrying a daughter of Titania.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily a peace situation, because one, weddings in the Fey Wild don't work like that.
Right.
It's more political. It's more of a more complicated hostage situation instead of an all-out war.
Yeah. Something like that. It's peace by another name.
Yeah. Or hostility by another name.
Right. It's, yeah, you know.
So it's more of the same, and more.
It's the relatively dry season.
They claim that the Seelie Fae attempted to foist upon them an undead bride.
It was a trick. They were gonna bait and switch us.
She was obviously glamored.
Obviously.
I
want to know who does her makeup though. That was amazing.
It was amazing.
So realistic.
And that them reclaiming the world seed in the chaos proves it. They want you to slay the offending.
Yep. Kill that Zambi. Get our thing back.
Recover it. And
Open season on Seelie Fae. Beat it up.
So as you progress in this case, you'll be rolling on the Seelie encounter table, because you'll have an Unseelie guide.
Yep.
On the other side, you'd be rolling on the Unseelie encounter table, because you've got a Seelie guide. They're all ambushes. You're going to get whacked, maybe a few times. If the players break both armies, avoid combat altogether, or in some way cause themselves to have not chosen a side, they are in the anti-Fey scenario.
How did you jump in the pool and not get wet? I don't understand it. Well, you just gotta angle your body right. No, get the hell out of here.
I killed all the water.
I killed the water, okay? I killed it all. You can't just attack the water and remain dry. I'm a level 20 barbarian. You're not gonna tell me what I can't do. I rage at the pool.
Okay. And it works. Jeez.
Fine, you attack the water so much you stay dry. I don't really know how this...
So,
how did you succeed so hard at this?
In general, what they're going to have to interact with is dead and dying fairies. Whether it be on the battlefield or retreating from the battlefield, you can assume that after getting some information, each of the fairies that provide it die. What they find out is that the Occupant was here. And honestly, you could say that from any of the options. The Occupant was on the guest list.
Yeah. He was on the guest list?
He was on the guest list. In the Unseelie side.
Oh. Oh.
Right?
Huh.
So, they can even maybe find the guest list and see that the Occupant kindly signed his name.
Did?
Yep. Got a copy of the Occupant's signature.
It says the Occupant. That's weird.
That is weird.
He thinks of himself as the Occupant?
In Draconic runes.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Who wrote in Draconic? Is that a dragon? Well, it's not a dragon.
Nope.
Not yet.
So, the Occupant has left a monster in his wake. We should probably put it to rest. And then when you're rolling for the encounters, you're rolling on both tables. You get one of each at the same time. Now, they're just as likely to attack each other. No. Not just as likely. That's incorrect. They're going to attack you, but they are likely to hurl one or two attacks at each other.
Be efficient about it.
Like, yeah, you're still the primary concern. You've introduced yourself as something bad enough that both armies have to take notice. So they'll both consider you the primary threat, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to take the chance to snipe at the other side.
Sometimes at large enough levels like this, one hit is enough to really turn the fight in one side's favor.
So, eventually, your party finds its way to the Weeping Oak. Is that what you called it? Weeping Willow?
I said a hanging willow.
Hanging Willow.
So that raises a good point. So if the Unseelie send you somewhere, they send you to the Hanging Willow. If the Seelie send you, they send you to the...
the Weeping Willow?
The Weeping Willow.
It's the same willow.
Same willow. But that's how they feel about it.
And it's here that we have... a Chubasa!
Chubasa!
So, the Chubas, in this case, the Corpse Bride, because I'm clever. If you noticed, we are in a white wedding.
Don't point it out too much.
I mean,
it'll lose freshness.
It's a nice day for it. So, the Corpse Bride is another one of those Wild Hunt. But, she's a Wild Hunt archer with the undead template, because she is a wight. That is to say, she has died, she has been preserved, and her consciousness has been brought back. However, she's kind of still a mindless undead. GB as Ambi. In general, conducted as a one-off fight with a Wild Hunt. But, give her one of the following reactions per round. The hunger! When a melee attack fails to strike the bride, you may attempt a bite attack at her highest attack bonus against that character. It deals 1d6 plus 8 damage and heals her for that much health.
Oh, she gets attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally an attack of opportunity for failing to hit her. Poison Mind. If an opponent casts a spell that requires them to have line of sight on her, the bride may fix her eyes on them. It must make a DC 24 will save against the gaze attacker who take 1d4 plus 1 wisdom damage. This is an undead corruption of their wild gaze, which can stun someone for a round.
Oh, okay.
So instead of stunning, it deals 1d4 plus 1 wisdom damage.
Not so much a needle into the mind, but an auger.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's how you augury, right?
Yeah, well, this is how she augurs. We're gonna find something out with a drill.
And share my pain. If the bride would take damage, she may allow her black ichor to flow onto those within melee range of her. If she does, they must make a reflex save DC 24 or take the same amount of damage as negative energy.
Wow.
So really, don't engage in melee.
Don't engage in melee.
It's a lot of don't engage in melee.
I mean, unless you're the rogue. The rogue, I think, would be fine.
And don't look at her too much.
Yeah, don't make eye contact.
Yeah. Other than that, she's a pretty simple encounter. They've fought a bunch of these by now, so they know what to deal with the 3d6 force damage, crit range 15 plus.
Yep.
You're gonna be ringing your players like a bell.
Oh yeah.
Throughout this dungeon. You may want to encourage them to bring a lot of healing.
Honestly, if your players have gotten this far and they don't bring a lot of healing, I mean,
They
that's
are a
on
lot of
them.
healing.
That's on them.
So,
Hey, cleric, how many spells you got?
hope they're all cure lights. Oh wait, they can.
They are.
They
All
can.
of them.
Once she is defeated, a harrowing wail echoes through the Fey Wild. A banshee keens so loud that for a moment after, your party thinks they have gone deaf. As sound returns to the world, give them the following information from their guide. So, the Unseelie lady's anguish manifesting after you kill her bride. She's probably a significant danger to all in the Feywood, especially the Seelie. You may need to deal with her before you leave. You think that she is the one that the Occupant did a favor to get invited to the wedding. they admit that they know who the occupant is, and thoroughly blame the occupant for the raising of their lady. And will happily guide you either back to the portal if you feel you need to leave, and they'll deal with this problem themselves, or offer to guide you into the Unseelie stronghold to take out the other Fey lady of the wedding.
Yeah, if you do that, they owe you a favor. If they take you back to the portal, you owe them a favor.
Yeah.
Always a problem in the Fae. Gotta watch out for that.
But
Never a dull moment.
I mean, the net is if you go back to the portal and run, you're owed a favor still from Titania, but then you owe Titania a favor.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wash, but not at all.
But that's still there. They don't cancel.
Yeah, they don't cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Titania owes you 2, which is nice. Although Queen Mab's probably coming for your head.
Yeah.
There's no winning here. As if you're with the Unseelie guide searches for the World Seed to no avail. He can't find it. It must have been stolen in the chaos of the wedding. The Keen was from the Unseelie lady, finally giving in to her anguish. The guide has one last request. Though it's a hard one. None of the Unseelie court can raise a hand against their lady.
Yeah.
But
you guys.
You can, and they believe that Queen Mab will murder them all if they find they allowed her daughter to become this.
Don't let her become one of them. Or stay one of them?
So, they will offer an equal favor from Queen Mab. Now, you have a problem here. It's Queen Mab. You're killing her daughter. Regardless of what you do, you're killing her daughter. So this favor's gonna suck.
That favor is, please don't kill me.
And she'll still find a way around it. Because it's Queen fucking Mab.
Yeah.
But the guide will happily lead you away to either the exit or the stronghold. Luckily, you won't have to fight through anyone in the stronghold because you've got an Unseelie guide.
Yep.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
The anti-Fey scenario, they have to make knowledge checks. Can figure out it's probably more of the occupant's corruption at work. And then they'll have to survival guide to find it or to run from it and try and find their way back to Sigil. They don't get much more other than probably the occupant. No, they get the obviously empty case of the World Seed.
A nice mahogany box inlaid with velvet and a little dimple with nothing in it.
Yep.
Perhaps it was even mistaken for a ring box.
If they have detect magic on it, they can see the occupant's signature on it. Like, it's just, that's the...
Now, something evil touched this.
They know what the occupant's magic looks like.
Yep.
At this point. Like, no! Got it! Right. Either way, up to 3 more random encounters on their way back through the wood.
Yep.
As they travel, they can feel the woods dying. If they are observant, they can feel their paths being bent towards a malignant force. After their last encounter, they arrive where they came from. The husk of Sigil, now stripped bare of the lush greenery that had reclaimed it, revealing the portal they had come through. In between them and the portal, a ghastly undead parody of a fairy, surging with divine and arcane energy, smoldering with hate, hovers. Upon seeing the party, she keens. Just blows your ears out. Sound does not exist for a second. For the first entire round of combat. If a guide is traveling with a party, the guide dies.
Gotta clean up those NPCs. But never leave a mess. You want to leave the forest exactly the way you found it.
It does not matter if they were going to the stronghold or going back to Sigil.
Yeah.
She brought them back to Sigil.
Yeah, she wanted them.
She is going to kill you because you killed her bride. Then she's going to go through that fucking portal and find the occupant and kill him.
And probably kill everything between here and there just because.
Everything she can. She has manifested into a level 0 deity.
Ooh, level 0 deity.
She has the divinity of the goddess of silence and suffering. If your players do have, I don't know, some way of restricting their detect magic to look at her, she has both arcane and divine.
Spellcraft check?
Yeah, pretty good one.
Yeah.
The other thing you can see is a curse from Queen Titania having been turned into the source for her divinity.
Yeah.
This is the daughter of Mab, who was cursed by Titania,
Okay.
and then fucked with by the Occupant.
Yeah.
She is a banshee, and you can only surmise... Well, no, actually, you can give him the whole story because it's written across her as a deitic being.
Oh yeah, and the deity magic is heavy in symbols. So if they read magic, it'll appear as auras or real symbols, and they can tell that...
This curse was that she can never speak, or be heard by living ears. It was because she was the love child of Oberon and Mab. Oberon being not me. I did not fuck. I don't stick my I don't stick my dick in Mab. That's Craig.
Oh. Okay, some guy that just happens to look and be named and sound and act just like you.
In fairy mythology, Oberon is the lover of Titania.
Yes.
And Mab is her sister.
Yep.
So Oberon fucked Mab and had a daughter. And Titania cursed the daughter, saying, "You can't tell anyone."
Yep. But I believe we had described this as this was her desire to contract with the Occupant to find a solution on her wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to be able to speak her vows, so the Occupant came up with a rather clever solution. What he didn't tell her was that he altered the living part of her curse and raised her as an undead, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it's a perfect out. He's got it. He nailed it.
Yeah. Now you're dead.
She was encouraged she was encouraged to allow her soon-to-be wife to hear the first words she ever spoke. She's a banshee.
Yeah.
With a ton of glamour, so no one knows.
Yep.
So yeah, that thing that the Unseelie Fey were blaming the Seelie Fey in doing...
Occupant did it.
Occupant did it.
Yep.
They did it.
Yeah.
They snuck the undead into the wedding.
What mostly they're mad about, but will never say, is they got really mad that they got played by a human.
Funny enough, I don't think Mab got played. I think Mab was okay whatever the ending be.
Oh yeah, all this shit got cleaned up.
Yeah, Mab goes, oh wait, I either have a nice hostage for the Seelie Fey and a world seed,
right?
Or I get this
mess,
or I get this lovely fucking deific general for my army.
Yeah, I can use the Banshee.
I can use that Banshee's powerful. But I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say, dear, don't speak now. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because Mab.
Because Mab. And that's why she's queen and all the rest of you get tricked by humans.
Yeah, Occupant did not trick Mab.
Nope.
He thinks he tricked Mab.
Yeah, he thinks he did.
He's like, yeah, got it.
Yeah, she's like, fine, cost me nothing, whatever.
Cost me what, 3 keys? Okay.
Sure. No, it doesn't. Cost her nothing. That wasn't her world stone. Now she just doesn't have it. Oh well.
Drug cost them a daughter of Titania and a world seed. Cost me a daughter that could never be heard, and who was barely a Fey anyway.
Yep. And now there's no curse in my family anymore.
Perfect.
Faux free.
So
faux free. That's
if your players care. If your players don't, hint at some of it. Don't shove it. So, this demigod of silence is a CR-18 Wild Hunt Scout, again, templated with Dread Banshee.
Yeah.
This template makes it fucking nuts! Suffice to say, they talk about the Dread Banshee in terms of like a CR-13 or 14 when templating.
Yeah.
And I don't see how they could feel that was reasonable. because we're using a CR 15 to make a CR 18, and some of those numbers are fucking crazy.
Yeah, so we just changed some of the numbers.
Yeah, so it doesn't perfectly follow the template. You're going to have to excuse us for that, but DM's privilege.
I like these numbers better.
Yeah.
I never get to roll D12s. I'm rolling some D12s. Do you have 8 of them?
8 D12s in a melee touch attack.
Yeah.
It's great. It's negative energy, and there's a terror effect, which just puts a fear on them for a D4 turns. You'll see that if you click through to the template. Undead traits, incorporeal traits, a fucking boatload of hit points, 253. And incorporeal means you take 50% damage from all corporeal damage sources. She is a beat stick. Deals a massive amount of damage. Her keen can deal 10d10 plus 80 sonic damage.
As opposed to what was originally written as 180 damage.
Yeah, flat 180
I like the sound of dice. The sound of dice is way more terrifying than just a big number.
I mean, she is a deity of silence.
And if you're dead, you don't hear a thing.
I don't know. 10d10 plus 80 is still a boatload of damage in an 80-foot AoE around her. This is another don't get into melee encounter. There's a lot of those in this wood.
There's a lot of... Well, this is higher level D&D, so a lot of it is over-the-top attacks, over-the-top death saves, piles of armor class and hit points. At this point of the game, shit's cray. Run in there and nuke it.
If the damage is getting too much, she has a lesser keen that you can use as her attack action, which is a 50-foot line, and deals 4d6 damage and causes permanent deafness if you fail a fort save of 27. If you succeed, it's no deafness and half that damage. And she still has Wild Gaze. Because why not? It's a will DC 24 to resist. Stuns for a turn, basically. As they're like, oh my god, she's horrifying and beautiful.
Great to interrupt a spell. We're going to cast Fireball. Wild Gaze.
She's got some other things for that, because she is the goddess of silence.
Oh, yeah.
So her reactions are true silence. Whenever someone would cast a spell with a verbal component within her range of hearing, you may force them to make a DC 27 Fortitude save or lose the ability to speak for a round.
Oh, wow.
And he also gets Spiteful Suffering. When she would take damage from a corporeal source, instead of taking reduced damage from it, being incorporeal, you can fully manifest for the rest of the round. If she does, remove the damage reduction, and instead inflict half of the damage she would receive on the person doing it.
It has negative energy.
Negative energy. You can DC 27 to cut that in half, so attack her, take a quarter of the damage yourself.
Yeah. But still, hit for 60. Okay, take 15.
And she has damage reduction.
Oh. So she doesn't even take 60. You still take the 15. She takes
45.
45.
And at the end of each combat round, she... Well, I don't know. I'd like her to be able to take divine actions. I don't know if she needs them.
Well, these we'll just say are swift actions.
Yeah, she gets one at the end of the round, and only use them if she needs them.
Yep, and these are largely cosmetic effects, so that's fine. This just plays up the boss battle mentality of her preventing the team from getting back through the portal into Sigil to chase down the Occupant.
Yep. So, in the next round, when she deals damage or silences a target, have her blink them. They get further away from the portal. Give her a pushback.
Oh, yeah, the sound is so loud. It
knocks them
forces
back.
Them back. The force of the wind knocks them back. Yeah.
That's manifesting her her divinity to just churn the Fey Wild away. For Shield of Suffering,
I mean that's literal mage armor. You just have animated force shields pop up around her.
Yeah.
Yep. And they block spells and last for a round, and It's something to aggravate your players.
Oh, I know what you treat it like. What's the one where you summon copies of yourself? And you roll a die to see if you hit the real one? Mirror image.
Mirror image, yep, that's it.
There we go. It's like a mirror image spell, except they're just shields that jump in the way of shit.
There it is. Okay. Second level goddamn spell.
Yeah.
God damn it. Alright.
It's so tiny. It doesn't seem like it does anything.
Oh, it does everything.
It does a lot.
Yeah, it's mirror image.
Yep. And hell, when somebody pops it, have it do, like, just a d8 damage to them. You broke a mirror. Aww. Oh, it's really bad luck.
Very bad luck.
That's what it is. It's like swirling mirrors. So, person who hits it sees themselves in it. And then they take a d8 when it breaks. Boom. And that's it. She's more than capable of taking someone from full to dead in one set of concentrated attacks.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely that CR coming into play. Because if you got 4 players and you're supposed to expend 25% of the party's resources, that works out to 1 player.
Yes.
Mercs 1 dude and then gets piled on by the rest. You're doing fine.
Yep. Once you have taken her down, she lets out one final keen for her own death.
Ooh, just final attack?
It does not hit you. Doesn't hit any of the players. It destroys a significant chunk of the Feywood around her and tosses you all back through the portal to Sigil. The connection between the Fey Wilds here and Sigil has been severed and destroyed.
Yep. If they went through the basement portal, this might shatter some of the house above it. If they went through the door in the top of the lighthouse, well, that's a much more spectacular explosion of glass and metal.
They probably go sailing out of it.
Woo! Into the bay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just water. You're fine now.
And I think it's a good place.
Yeah, leaving you bobbing like apples in Sigil's Bay. Yeah, I think that's a good place to end for the week.
The wind howled at the washboard, sleeping underneath the moon. Our plan was hatched in a briar patch where lovers began swoon. Their lips stained with violet, their tongues tied into knots. To the loamy beds, their secrets, baby, we